Our lecture this evening is the physiology of human intelligence. And without further delay in our schedule, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Jerome Lejeune.
As Socrates said one day to young Theaetetus, thought is a discourse that the soul holds to herself on the object she is examining. An extraordinary definition which has never been surpassed, but which leaves in the shadow something even more surprising, is that this discourse that the soul holds to herself has some meaning about the outside world. How it is possible that what we think has some relationship with the world as it is and not as we are? There are two theories to explain that, the one of Democritus and the other of Engels. From Democritus, the intelligence is a fruit of chance. It's only a cas de figure of the evolution. And then if everything in nature is due to chance and necessity, hence human mind and human reason is also the result of chance, with no apparent necessity. But if we accept that thing, we are obliged to suppose that evolution had a fantastic predictive power, because human reason gave us an extraordinary strong hold upon the world. We can describe the movement of the planets. We can even go and walk on the moon. We can send apparatus on other planets. We can unleash the atomic energy. Then obviously we have, with our reason, an enormous power over the world. But how could evolution build progressively the brain which would make those things possible? Because human reason had no interest until, by accumulation of knowledge during many generations, then it becomes able to use its extraordinary power for scientific purpose. Then selection would have selected a system before the system could be used. And that is a very tricky system to swallow. Well, the other possibility is that of Engels, that in fact matter and energy, and so to speak the universe, is pregnant of the spirit. And then by necessity, and without any randomness, spirit is obliged to emerge in some or another part of the universe one day or another. That's an interesting thought, which has the difficulty that you are obliged to believe on the ETs, the extragalactic individuals, and to the little green Martians with tiny antennas, which are not so much popular nowadays after the Mariner expeditions. Then we are left with that dilemma that either the intelligence is due to natural selection and has evolved by randomness, or that it is a built-in property of matter, then it's very curious that it appears only on us and not on all the others. Well, the way to go around of that dilemma is existing. That is, the spirit who dictates the law of the universe took the trouble of creating us at its own similarity, so that now, if we have only a little part of his own spirit, it is not unintelligible that the universe is intelligible even partly. To put it in a very simple way, I would give you, between you and me, my strong feeling that the fight between materialist and spiritualist is foregone forever. Because between spirit and matter, it is the spirit that matters. Now, to make you understand that, I would tell you a true story, the story of mathematics. You read in the textbook that mathematics, and especially geometry, was invented in Egypt. And, well, before the dam of Aswan was built with Russian money, there was a flood on the whole valley of the Nile, so that after the withdrawal of the waters, there was a very flat, level plain, and what's more natural than to sow few pyramids on a plain? That is the way geometry came to the mind of the Egyptians, we are told by the books. And also with the necessity of finding again the borders of the fields when the stones had been removed by the waters. I have nothing against the ingenuity of the Egyptians, but I don't believe that story. Now, let me tell you the true story. The lovers, as you probably already noticed, spend long hours looking at each other's eyes. And that's so true that in every language of the world we call by the same name this little round window that we are opening on the outside world. In Latin, in French, in English, we say the pupilla, which means the little girl. The Greeks were using the word chorea, which means a little girl. And if you go around all the Mediterranean, you will find that no matter where you go, it's always a little girl in the eye. Well, in Spanish you say la niña del ojo. Very precisely, it's a little girl in the eye. And if you go around, the Arabic people say insan, a line. Now you can translate immediately. Insan is a living person, and ain is the eye. So it's very easy to speak the language of the eyes because it's the same language everywhere. In Iran it's Mardomak. Translation very simple. Mardom means a man and means little. It's a little man that you see on the eye. And even in Ceylon, they say I Baba. I will not translate. I is I and Baba is baby. You know, human language is very simple once you know what you are talking about. Because you are talking about one of those deep secrets which have been discovered by women. That when you look very closely inside the eye of the beloved, you see the reflection of your own face on this optical spherical surface, which is the cornea and also the anterior face of the lens, the crystalline lens. And that's probably the reason why most of the languages say the little girl and not the little boy inside the eye, because it was discovered, this interesting property of the spheric mirrors was discovered first by the woman. But it has a corollary that, truly speaking, love sees a child in the eye of the beloved. And that is true in any language. I remember one day I was in Paris with good friends, and there was a Jewish rabbi, and we were talking about the pupilla, and I asked him, what's the name you use in Hebrew? And he said, Ishon. And I said, oh, that's interesting. What means Ishon? He said, it means the pupilla. Yes, but what it means really? I said, I don't know. Then he phoned to his son at home to take the dictionary, and the dictionary was very clear. Ish is a man. Isha is a woman. Ishon is a human being. And they were even more precise than the other, saying what you see in the pupilla, it's a human being, Ishon.